Hello everyone, yes, it's me here for a very strange impromptu news video. Now I don't tend to do news videos mainly because you have to be on a grind when making them. As soon as you hear the rumour or the piece of news, you need to quickly record the video, edit it and get it out as soon as possible in order to get views essentially, and I'm really lazy, so that's why I don't do them, because I won't be able to get them out in time consistently. I leave news videos up to people like Faries and Ace Creeper to do them, because I simply can't be bothered. However, I heard a piece of news and I just thought I've kind of got to talk about this, mainly because I kind of felt as if I had a different perspective to what was being bounded around on Twitter. First heard this news from the Who Chaser. He uploaded a video and I watched his video and I thought, that's pretty strange, but it's probably just a rumour. I hadn't seen anyone else comment on this, and then I just checked Twitter and everyone was talking about this. It looks pretty official. People were acting as if it had been confirmed. It may have been confirmed, who's to say, but yeah, people are talking about this, and yeah, I thought I could add a unique perspective onto this. I haven't really seen people speak about. Now, I've been waffling here. What am I talking about? Yeah, I'm talking about Series 13 and the fact that it's going to be 8 episodes, or actually more specifically 7 episodes and a Christmas special, and I feel like with that added detail, and that added detail really makes a difference, because 8 episodes you're looking at the length of Series 7B, 7 episodes you're looking at less than the length of a half of a series that we got about 8 years ago. This is a bit disappointing for me. Now, before everyone goes and rages at me in the comments, I know why they've reduced the episode count from 10 episodes plus Christmas special to 7 episodes plus Christmas special. I'm not stupid. I know it's because of COVID restrictions, and to be honest, yeah, it's understandable. I understand that they want to go out and make Doctor Who, and a lot of people have been saying that, you know, you stop complaining, you should just be grateful that we are getting any Doctor Who at all, possibly in 2021. And I completely understand that. At the end of the day, the team are doing the best they can in these current restrictions to get us out by 2021. I completely understand that. At the end of the day, if it needs to be cut down to 7, that's what needs to happen for it to be released in 2021. I understand that. I completely understand that. It's not Chris Chibnall's fault, really. He's been put under ridiculous situations where no one would have expected COVID to happen. So I completely sympathise with Chris Chibnall and the production team here. However, at least in my opinion, if we can't get 10 episodes of Christmas special in 2021, then why just not have Doctor Who in 2021? Why not postpone it to 2022 if that's when you can get a full series out? Because, at least for me, it seems as if Chris Chibnall is being forced to ditch his original Series 13 plan and change it in order to rush it out. And this is what it seems to me. It seems to me that they're trying to rush up the series and get out as soon as possible. And for me, I'd much rather if they took the time on the series and really put out the series that they want to put out and that they feel is the best length to tell the story, and put it out when they can. Because I feel as if putting deadlines on things, or put ridiculous deadlines on things, you're always going to get a rushed project. And to be honest, I just would want this to be the best quality it can be, and to see it in the way Chris Chibnall and the production team would originally intend it, which would naturally be in a 10 episode series. If they're ready to film now, the script's already written, it would be written in a 10 episode series plus a Christmas special or a festive special, whatever they're calling it. And therefore he's had to cut out episodes. A lot of people have been saying that they're going to cut out filler episodes, and I have a big problem with this, mainly because for me, I'm a big fan of filler episodes. I know they're called filler for a reason. They don't contribute much to the arc, but the thing is, Doctor Who is sometimes at its best where it's just given a throwaway episode to do something wacky with it, or to do something really special with that episode. I mean, look at the classic series. All of those episodes could mostly be described as filler episodes because there weren't really any arcs there. And ultimately, even in the Revive series, like look at a series like Series 5, for example, which I'd say is the best series. You guys all know how much I love Series 5. I've done videos on this. I even did one a couple of months back, fairly recently, a subtle plug. Look, some of the best episodes in there. You've got the 11th Hour, Time of Angels, Flesh and Stone, even the Pandora Opens, The Big Bang, which is my favourite episode, or my favourite story of Doctor Who ever. They're all intertwined with the arc. But then you've also got amazing episodes such as Amy's Choice and Vincent and the Doctor. Two tremendous episodes that could be deemed as filler. And therefore, if that was cut to like, however many episodes, there's a chance they will ditch those stories because they are filler. And what I'm saying is that you miss out on those special episodes of Doctor Who, because Doctor Who's story being tied to an arc doesn't make it good. I mean, just look at Series 12. My favourite episode was Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. That story was filler. And my least favourite story was The Timeless Children, which is essentially the big build-up to the arc. And I wasn't a big fan of Fugitive of the Judoon I-verse, and, you know, another pivotal arc story. And someone said that essentially, you know, let's cut out all the non-arc stories in Series 12 as an example of, you know, it could be okay to for having a 7-episode series of Series 13, and it was Spyfall Part 1 and 2, Fugitive of the Judoon, The Haunting of Diodati, Essential of the Cybermen, and The Timeless Children, and I liked 3 out of those 6 stories. So ultimately, you know, that just goes to show, I think that a lot of people are saying, you know, we can focus on the arc, but I think you'd never want to be at risk with your series being too arc heavy, because ultimately if the arc isn't very good and doesn't intrigue people, then people are just going to tune out. And I mean, going by Chris Chibnall's track record, there's a good chance it might be. I'll elaborate on that in a minute, but you know, you're looking at that. Also, you are at risk of the casual audience not really following it. Which, I mean, people may say, well, you know, all other TV shows aren't serialized, they're much more arc-focused. I mean, they're literal continuous narrative TV shows, so why would it confuse audiences? And I understand why this seems like a very weird point. I'm just bringing this up because everyone says Series 6 confused people. And, I mean, that had filler episodes because it was arc-heavy. And Series 12 turned people off because of its arc-heavy nature, so having a series that is entirely arc-heavy, I don't know, it might turn people off. And as I said, if it's a really poor arc, then you're really gonna turn people off, and people aren't going to enjoy it. And if that arc really doesn't end satisfying me, then you've got a series which no one is going to return to. I think at least with Series 12 there are a couple of episodes that I will return to it, even though I really didn't like the Timeless Child arc. But if you've got a purely arc-focused series, then if the arc isn't very good, as I said, then it's going to ruin people's opinions on the series afterwards. And ultimately, I just like filler episodes. As I said, I think you can get some really good creativity in those filler episodes. And ultimately, I always think that Doctor Who should never be trying to put restrictions on itself. It should never be trying to limit itself from creativity, because that's when you get your weaker series. Look at Series 11, try to limit itself creatively, and ultimately you got some pretty weak stories there. You know, Series 7 is another one that tried to limit itself creatively, and ultimately, again, some weaker stories in there. So I think that ultimately Doctor Who should never try and put restrictions on itself, because that's when you're going to get the weaker stories. If you're only having 7 episodes, you're not going to get any 2-parters, so you can cross that off. And yeah, you're just not going to get as much experiments, you're going to get much more returning elements, returning themes. And while I understand that works for other TV shows, ultimately with Doctor Who, I really come to Doctor Who for the variety. I think that's why a lot of people come to Doctor Who. And ultimately, you are just going to lose that if you just cut out these episodes and put in a purely arc-focused thing. And ultimately, seeing how Chris Chibnall handled the arc and integrated the arc in Series 12, I really don't have much hope that he'd really be able to do that successfully and satisfyingly. And to make that arc worth it, especially if it's building off of the Timeless Child stuff. I think I mentioned this in my podcast with Mr. TARDIS. I think it was with Mr. TARDIS. It might have been with Richard Lloyd. I can't remember. I think it was the Mr. TARDIS one. I think I said that even though I don't enjoy Doctor Who at the moment, I still keep watching it because you still get those parts of Doctor Who that I like. You still get those episodes in a series that I like. So why would I stop myself potentially watching good episodes just because I might watch bad episodes? Because you're always going to get that diamond in the rough in there. And ultimately, you're really limiting yourself from finding those diamonds in the rough if you've got no filler episodes. And as I said, Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror Era was my favourite episode of Series 12. That would have been deemed filler, and if that was cut down, then, you know, that wouldn't happen. And ultimately, you know, 7 episodes plus Christmas special, as I said, that's even less than the second half of Series 7. So, you know, ultimately it's limiting itself creatively, which I think is a massive problem. It's not what Chris Chibnall would have originally intended. You're completely messing up his series to try and cut it down and to try and rush it out. And ultimately, I can understand why people would want Doctor Who by 2021. I completely understand that, but ultimately, if it just takes a bit more time to really finalise it and put out what Chris Chibnall wants and what he's comfortable with, the actual finalised product, I don't mind waiting a few months to actually get the proper version of Series 13 rather than a cut down version that's being rushed out, because we've seen TV shows and films that have been rushed out to fit a certain deadline. Not many of them really ever end well. So, as I said before, I don't want people to sound like I'm spoiled or, you know, I'm being negative for the sake of being negative and that I'm ungrateful. Absolutely not. At the end of the day, as I said, I appreciate the fact that the production team can only get out 7 episodes in a festive special for 2021. I completely sympathise with them. These are unknown times. I completely sympathise with them. But ultimately, for me, if you can't get it out in 2021, then I don't mind waiting the time. I don't mind waiting to 2022 if we could get a full series and get the series that Chris Chibnall was happiest with, that he originally wrote, and that contains all of the episodes of Series 13, all of the intricacies, because ultimately I don't think Doctor Who works as a purely arc-focused thing. You need to have those episodes that have nothing to do with the arc, because A, that's where some of the best stories come from, and B, they're just nice little breathers, otherwise it'll be very full-on. And ultimately to distract from the fact that you may not like the arc, but here are some standalone stories anyway. And I know Chris Chibnall can't really think about people might not liking the arc because he doesn't write it thinking it's bad. I completely understand that. Ultimately, I'm rambling here. Ultimately, I just think that I completely sympathise with the production team. If all 7 episodes they can do by 2021, then that's okay. But ultimately, for me, it's not a case of me saying they should have more episodes out by 2021. I'm just saying I'd much rather wait to 2022 to get a full series, with them not rushing anything, with them really meticulously taking their time on this series and just putting it out when it's actually finalised, not rushing it to get to a certain date because they're putting restrictions on themselves creatively. And ultimately, I just don't think it would be a very good idea. As I say, I sympathise with the production team, but with me, I'd much rather wait for quality than get quantity. If that makes sense. Anyway, that's the end of this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. I know it's a bit of a weird one. It's an impromptu news video. It's just audio, not a kind of face cam me filming myself, which is what would have been ideal for this type of video. But come on, guys. It's 9:30, 20 to 10. I'm in my pyjamas. I just wanted to go to bed and maybe watch some telly. I didn't expect to be making this video. It is just there, and to be honest, I want the views, so I had to try hard and try and get out as soon as possible, because ultimately if I didn't, then ultimately no one will watch the video. I mean, maybe no one will watch it now, who's to know? I don't want to, you know, presume anything, but anyway, there you go. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoy this video, leave a like, drop a sub, and hit that notification bell to stay notified for all my latest videos. And also, what do you think of this? Because I feel as if it'll be really interesting, a lot of different opinions there. So what do you think about what I think, and what are your thoughts? Drop all down in the comment section below. I'd really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you guys for watching this weird impromptu news video. Yeah, thanks. And of course, a goodbye.